It's not rocket science. Like, I'm really just making the thing that I would want to watch or do.
Welcome to the 9 to 5 Quitters Club, the podcast uncovering the creator entrepreneurs at the forefront of a work revolution. Today we're speaking with world traveler, YouTuber, language educator, philosopher, and creative entrepreneur Damon Dominique. Damon was at the cutting edge of travel YouTube in the early 2000s and since has built multiple successful channels with a style he calls FaceTime content that is raw, playful, and wholly his own. He's also a masterful educator with a wealth of courses spanning from language to travel hacking, all built with the same deep thought and playfulness he brings to all his content. In this episode, we dive into what drove him to start his YouTube journey.
I think I first went to YouTube because I was so turned off that like the power of my career could be in somebody else's hands.
Why he began building online courses for his audience.
It was just like shocking that I couldn't find a course that actually taught me the things I wanted to know.
And make sure to stick around till the end for some creative inspiration that we all need to carry into this new year, regardless of what your goals are.
I just hope people will, honor what they truly believe in, or say the jokes that they think are funny, or make the course that they think is really cool or that's needed.
This episode is a fun exploration of what can happen when you're committed to always learning, passionately sharing your experience with others, and creating what you want to see in this world no matter how it's received. Let's dive in, and we hope you enjoyed this conversation with Damon Dominique.
I'm from Indiana. I moved to New York for university. From the get-go, I knew that it wasn't for me. I just knew that it was my way to get to New York City. And I didn't know what other options there were, so I just went to school. I go to school, I end up dropping out. I discover YouTube is on its way up. So YouTube was people were just starting to make money off YouTube. And I knew that I wanted to do something in entertainment. Like I wanted to either be an actor or, I don't know, I wanted to work in design, or I wanted to do something creative. And so I hopped on YouTube for 3 years. It was not really successful. I was just figuring it out. Became a travel YouTuber. Back in the day, I had a different channel. We got to 1,200,000 subscribers. It was a travel channel. And then we went our separate ways. We both created different YouTube channels. And so the past few years, I've had my own YouTube channel, living in Paris. I'm an American guy living in Paris. My content's still all about travel, my life in Paris as an American guy, my dating life. And so, yeah, right now I am a travel YouTuber. I have a few courses with Teachable, 2 French courses, 2 Spanish courses, and a travel course. And so that's where I'm at now. I feel like I went from student to YouTuber again, to now I feel like I'm YouTuber / entrepreneur.
You say casually, like, I went to YouTube. What was your thought there? Was it to be a travel YouTuber? People are looking for so much. What do I do? What's my niche? What were you thinking?
Yeah. You're talking back in the day. I think I first went to YouTube because I was so turned off. This is the general theme, by the way. I was so turned off that like the power of my career could be in somebody else's hands. And that doesn't have to be super scary. It's just like, if you're an actor, you could be the best actor ever, but if you don't go to that audition, then you're not going to get the role. Or if the movie that you would be so perfectly cast in isn't being produced when you're whatever, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, then you're not going to be cast for the role. And I didn't want my whole life to be dependent on these like technicalities. So I thought YouTube was the perfect place to kind of like discover like how I would create my own show. And so I guess that's what I have been doing it for over 10 years now. Before it was even a job. Like I would say like I was in the first wave or two of people who are really starting to make it as a job. And so now I have no desire to do anything like acting or anything like that, because it seems like why would I give up all the freedom I have doing my own thing on YouTube, have to memorize a script for one audition just to impress one person, to hopefully get a call back, to hopefully get another job. That never sat well with me. And not that we need to take it there right now, but there's a similar rebellion in me when it comes to education. Like I would much rather learn something on my own or go straight to the source than spending so much money on education and university to write one research paper that one person's going to read, my professor, when just like my whole life is in somebody else's hands. I feel like there are themes here that we probably we'll get into and figure out by the end of this, but I'm really happy with how everything turned out far.
Yeah, well, we see this every creator I talk to. There is in various forms and different personalities. There is a rebellious nature of I'm going to do this myself. But it did sound I was getting to like right away. You weren't thinking education. You were thinking entertainment to make entertaining content.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually an interesting question. I wanted to do travel TV. Like I wanted to go around the world. My goal in life, my passion was always I want to see the world. I want to explore. I want to learn languages. I want to learn how other cultures live their lives. Like I was always interested in that. So yes, I guess my first round on YouTube wasn't so much I'm going to go and teach languages, which is what I do with Teachable. It wasn't that at all. It was like I'm going to go and see the world with my own two eyes and show my friends and family back home what the world looks like because they didn't have the opportunity to, or they just aren't aware that there are cheap deals out there. The idea came to me because I was studying abroad in Paris. And when you live in Europe, I mean, these countries are like 2 hours away from each other. So it is
Yeah.
easy to bounce around. And so I was doing that. I'm from Indiana originally. So my friends and family were like, how are you doing this? Like you do not have money to be traveling like that. So then I started making videos showing people actually that flight was only 15 euros. In fact, I have a friend today, he went to Estonia because the flight from Paris was, I think, 11 euros.
Wow.
11 euros. So he went today to Estonia for a week.
What were you doing for money at the time?
Teaching English, I think. I was a student studying abroad. Yeah, 19 in Paris. I think I had an English teaching job. And I just like didn't spend money. If I were going out to a club, I would get a bottle of wine before and just drink it all and go to the club. Like there are ways to make it work, and also
Yeah.
that's what I would show on my YouTube channel. Like
Right.
if you want to make something work, you will. And so I never let the fact that I didn't have much money like hinder me from doing the things I ultimately wanted to do. So I just found a way to make it work.
Where the hell did that confidence come from to think that this was a lifestyle other people wanted to see or that you were
Mm-hmm.
just to go out and do it? I know that may not mean every part of you is confident, but the confidence to say like, yeah, I'm going to broadcast this. I'm going to show this.
Yeah. I was doing it to show my friends and family that like, hey, this is possible. Everybody, you can make this happen if you really want to. But then it was also that the life I was living in Paris as a 19-year-old study abroad student, I hadn't seen anywhere else. And yet I was like addicted to the TV when I was growing up. I mean, in Indiana, there's not much to do. So I was always watching all the TV shows, but I had never seen like somebody living in a different country. One, I thought that was so fascinating. And just doing the things I was doing. Some of the videos, the first videos we made, we took I don't know, a flight to Barcelona and then we like slept on the beach. And here we were just literally 19 years old, just having such a cool moment. And at the time I
Yeah.
was doing it with my best friend and we were just two friends backpacking around Europe. And I didn't even know that was a thing. And so really me putting those videos out online was trying to get other people to realize like there are adventures out there and you don't even know about it. Of course, it's my own style has elevated since then. I make videos on different topics now, but that was, I mean, 2013, barely anybody was watching YouTube. Instagram story wasn't even invented till like 2017. TikTok wasn't even big till 2021. Like, so this is way back.
We'll be right back after this brief message. This podcast is brought to you by Teachable and therefore has no sponsors. So we just wanted to take a moment to encourage you to go check out Damon on YouTube and follow along with one of the most creative educators in the creator economy today. Creators like Damon are the reason this podcast exists, so supporting them helps support our ability to bring you more of their stories and lessons. You can find Damon on YouTube at Damon Dominique, which is also linked in the show notes or description wherever you're watching or listening. Okay, now back to the episode. I've taken your French course. It's a lot of work
Have
to
you?
make what you have. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I knew that.
It's not a casual French course. It's very in-depth. So what brought you to language being something you would focus on versus like 5 flights for so much or these kind of travel hacks that would be
So-
easier products to make?
Because it's what I was good at. Like it's what I was good at. Like I think everyone has a talent. Some of us are lucky enough to find it, and I think one thing that I'm actually good at is learning languages. And some people have that brain and some people don't. Even if I have a language course out to like right now, even if I teach languages, I still to this day think some people's brain is more wired to learn it than others. That doesn't mean you can't. Like even if your brain isn't so like language oriented, that doesn't mean that you cannot learn it. But I think it's not going to click as fast. The same way that I couldn't tell you how to repair this curtain. Like I couldn't tell you how to put that back on the bar. Like I no idea. Way over my head. So I wanted to make these language courses also because I hadn't found one that was just like spoken the way that I'm speaking right now. I want to speak like how I speak right now. I want to go down to the restaurant below my apartment and flirt with the waiter. I want to yell at the post office when they don't deliver my package. Like I need real French. Like this is all cute in the textbook, but I need to know how to speak real French. It was just like shocking that I couldn't find a course that actually taught me the things I wanted to know. So that's why I just decided to do it. And I realistically didn't think like it was going to sell as well as it did. Again, the power of the internet, but I was shocked at how well it did. And it completely changed the way I see my business. Like to this day, it's been 3 years since I launched my first course. And now I'm like, if I wanted to just rake in the money, I would just be a French teacher. But of course, that's not the purpose of my life. I want to be a traveler. I want to teach people things. So it's only one of my businesses. But yeah, it was just ultimately because I hadn't seen another course out there that taught me the things I wanted to actually learn as a 20, 30 something trying to learn another language. And might I say that this is why people learn languages and then they go abroad and they freeze up. It's like because you're learning a language from somebody you can't relate to a book that was written 15 years ago. Like of course you're going to freeze up. You're not learning the things you're not learning how to speak like you. So I had all these opinions basically, and I boiled it down into one course. No, but you're completely right. It's a full on like college level course. I think level 1 is 18 hours. Not only the grammar that you're going to learn in all the classes, but what songs French people are going to leave their drink at the bar and go run to the dance floor to. Like what songs you need to know. Even today, I was messing around with the website. I was like redesigning it. And I was putting the quizzes in the website. And I was like, dang, these quizzes are so good. Like you show up to a door and it says, I don't know, whatever it says, pousser. And then it's like, what does that mean? Push or pull? And so those are the questions that I have in the quiz as well. I needed to make a course that I would want to take. Bottom line.
This is a theme too with creators, is like you see a gap and you have a desire, and so you make the thing you wanted or that you want.
Sorry, common theme here. Like it's not rocket science. Like I'm really just making the thing that I would want to watch or do. Like that's the beauty of the internet and social media these days. Like that's why I did my YouTube videos in the style that I did them, because I thought, why isn't this out there already? Why are we all just trying to be hosts and speak in a very formal professional way? Like, is that even what we want to watch? Like, what if we just approached the video and spoke like this, or how you're doing the podcast right now? Like, we want to see real people just doing real things. So that was the case with my YouTube channel. That was the case with the courses. That's the case with the newsletter now that I have.
Well, you do bring them to your courses. I tried to learn French. You go to France, they don't speak the way you learn in the book. Holy heck. Like, it's totally different.
So I had a French boyfriend for 6 years, and the French that he would teach me that he speaks with his friends, like, you're not finding that in a textbook. But yeah, that's how they're speaking. Like, that's how they're really speaking. So at the end of the day, I was just here to teach French the way that I'm hearing it on the streets of Paris right now. Like, your French teacher back home, or even your French teacher in France, they probably can't even teach you half the things because they're going to get fired. They're going to get fired if they teach you these words. Like, that's not the case.
Why did you drop out of college?
The number one reason was just, it was so ridiculously expensive, and I just could not justify that. 100% a price thing. Now, you could argue that, and I'm from Indiana, you could argue that I could just stay in Indiana and go to college there. I just don't think that university has to cost $50,000 a year. I think that's actually ridiculous. And I think really the thing that clicked in my head was that, so I went to school in New York for 1 year. Then my sophomore year, I went to Paris to study abroad. And when I was in Paris, I realized not only was I learning more, it was 90% less. And all the people just seemed more intelligent, like more cultivé. They seemed a little bit more like that you could ask anybody who painted that painting, and they're gonna be able to name who painted the painting
Hmm.
or who their favorite philosopher is. In the States, I feel like we couldn't even name a philosopher. I don't know. Maybe I have a lot of hot takes. Maybe I have a lot of hot takes, but it's just different.
Yeah.
We in the States are very good at entertainment, technology, being the world leader. No, no, we're really good at certain things. Okay, but in France, they're also really good at certain things, and they tend to be like art, culture, intellectual things, literature. So I don't know. I guess the reason I dropped out of school was just that I couldn't justify repaying $200,000 for not only all majors, but specifically mine, especially mine, which was language. But then the reason I say that, like, how do I word this? I think that it's really cool study languages in a formal atmosphere. Like, I loved actually going to language class. That what I learned was not the problem. It's just that I don't think it's worth $200,000. I think you could learn a lot better French or a lot better Spanish. I was going for both. If you just took that $200,000, went to the country, and just like literally
Live
went
there.
on vacation for $200,000, like is this making sense to anybody?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't fathom spending that much money learning French in a textbook when I could take that money and go to the country and learn it. So I changed my major, actually. I changed my major because I'm like, okay, well, I can still learn languages. People are fluent in languages without having degrees in them. What matters is that you speak it. So let me change it to communications. So then I changed it to communications, but I honestly felt like I'd show up to class and everyone was just on their laptop, like on Facebook. And I was like, is this not making sense to anybody? Like, we're paying to be here and we're just like all on social media right now. That's dumb. So then I switched it to film studies. But in class, we're just watching movies. So I'm like, why? Like, I can pay $9.99 for Netflix, like, and watch the same movies. And I just felt like I started to feel like I was going crazy when I felt like I was being the most rational one. And of course, what most people will say is, hey, I agree with you. It's just that the system's not set up that way, and you need a degree to get any job these days. Now, the way that I operate my rebellious life, it seems, is that I don't want to work for a company that would have those policies. Like, I'm dodging a bullet actually by not, like, I don't want to perpetuate the system is what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
So I don't care if that's how the system is right now. What I care about is how I want the system to be. So let me be an example of that. I took a semester off and I told, because I was dropping out of the honors college, by the way. So I had all these scholarships and it was
Huh.
a big deal. Like, to my family in Indiana, who was like, you're the only one in our family who's gone to college and now you're dropping out. So I took a semester off and I said, you know what? Like, let me just see what I can do on my own. And if I'm successful, then great. And of course, like, that's when I started the YouTube channel and I was hustling in New York. I had all these jobs and I ended up winning this like American Eagle campaign, and like my picture was in Times Square. So it like all worked out actually. But that's because I had like a hustler mentality, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I worked. Like, I made sure that it worked.
That
And
feel risky at the time? Like you say, how was that interaction with your family as far as?
no, I think they were disappointed, which is reasonable. It's like, you have the scholarships, you did go to New York. Like, can you please just finish college? You have 2 more years left. Like, just do it to get the degree. And I was like, but the degree to me doesn't mean anything, and I'm gonna have to pay it back. So I think really what families want is just to see that you're happy. And
Hmm.
when they saw that I was actually happy, they left me alone. They were like, "Oh, okay, he's actually doing his thing. He's happy this way." I don't think I would have been happy with all those loans. In fact, I did still have loans. I think I had 30,000 that I had to pay back just from the year in New York and a year in Paris. I just see it as universities are a business at this point, and I
Yeah.
think it's sorry. I didn't realize I had all these opinions about this.
No, no, that's all
No,
right.
it's like, come on though. It is so ridiculous that, like, you're out of school for 1 year, you graduate. Within that next year, the alumni office is hitting you with an email. Do you want to donate? Do you want to donate to the university? No, I want you to pay off these loans. So I see university as a business these days, and I think I see it that way because I've been in Europe now for 6 years. Everyone here thinks it's completely ridiculous in the States, and I'm just a European now, I guess.
Well, and it's not that education shouldn't cost money. You're a business, but it's not,
Mhm.
people aren't going into debt taking your courses. I
No,
think
yeah.
that's the big difference. And it hasn't always been that way. You used to be able to work a part time job and pay off your school.
When I first launched my course, I was a little hesitant because my course was $199 and I thought that was really expensive for a language course. Also cuz I'm not French. Like I'm an American guy born and raised in Indiana, but that was my whole angle. Like that was the whole angle. Like I have the same brain. I've been through this. I know what questions you're going to have. Let me help you out. Let me show you all the strategies. Let me show you all the shortcuts, where you need to focus, where you don't. So, I had to address that on the launch page of the course. And I said, the course is priced at $199. But if you were to take a similar course with a university, it's going to be 3 credits. Each credit is $700. So this same course, actually, I'm covering like a year's worth of material here. So 2 semesters. And I did all the math. I'm like, this
Right.
same course in the university is going to cost you thousands of dollars. But you don't question it because that's how the system is. So
There are a couple other things I want to ask you about, but just to bookend, for someone kind of on that journey or young and passionate and wanting to forge their own path, do you have I know I'm sure there can be a lot of advice, but a singular piece of advice for just navigating that decision?
here's what I'd say. People seem to have it twisted. They seem to think that everything you're going to learn in life is from the ages of what, 18 to 23 when you go to university. That's not the case. Education lasts a lifetime. Every single year, you're going to be learning new things. And so I think it's silly to focus all of your like learning time just when you're 18 to 23. This year alone, like I went to London and took a few short courses. I don't even think people are aware that those exist. You can go to certain colleges and well, actually you can go to the universities and type in short courses, and a lot of them have short classes for like a week and they're going to be a fraction of the price. So I took a graphic design course in London. I took a philosophy class in London. So I would say, I don't know if people are looking at their education to not just filter and narrow it down to like, okay, I have 4 years to learn everything and it's going to be all packaged up and we're going to call it a degree. No, like even when you have your degree, you're going to still need to learn more. Like it's just
Yeah.
an ongoing thing. And yeah, to this day, I'm constantly reading about philosophy. Every day I learn a new word in French. Just the other day I made this painting and you have to like sand it. And so I asked for sandpaper. So I said like papier de sable, which doesn't exist in French. And he's like, "What? What do you need papier de sable for? We have papier de verre. We have glass paper." And I was like, "No, no, no, I don't need glass paper. I need sandpaper." He's like, "No, but..." And then he showed me the glass paper and it was sandpaper. So they call it
Oh, but
glass
it's
paper.
called.
What I'm saying is you're going to constantly be learning. It's not just in college. So you don't need to focus all your money just for those 4 years. And I think also it's a nice reminder for some people to continue learning. I think people, once they graduate, they stop. Some people could maybe use a class or two. They could. Like, there are
So key-
classes everywhere. Like,
so I'm hearing kind of like ask yourself the critical questions of how you keep learning through a lifetime and what will
that part.
enable that. Yeah. So I'm oversimplifying here, but having gone from sharing a studio with 2 other people
Mhm.
to where you are now, I know this is an open question, but what's it like to have a significant amount of money?
My life has not changed at all. Like, my life has not changed one bit. Literally today I was at lunch and I said, I'm almost like the worst person to have made good money because I'm either the worst or the best. I'm the worst because my tastes have not changed in the way that I think most people think they would. Like I don't
Mm.
do you see my shirt? Like this I was painting and I like this style. Like this is paint on my shirt. I like this. Yeah, I still buy the same coffee. I still all my furniture in here is thrifted. My tastes haven't changed. And I think that's worth mentioning. Like if your income does increase, some people's personalities and identities do change and they become interested in new things, and their friends and family look at them like, wait a second, I feel like I don't even know you. I don't feel like I've changed one bit. Like, yeah, so I guess what's changed? Not much. Now I'm like afraid. Now I'm like afraid of like losing the money. That's now my baseline zero. No,
Has
what I
that?
do, I just put it in the stock market. But even that feels a little dumb, to be honest, because at some point you need to take the money out and use it. But I can't justify buying a house because if I buy a house, then my monthly mortgage is more expensive than my current rent. So also that feels
Yeah,
dumb. So
yeah.
I just feel like all of this is worth mentioning because I think some people live their life from the perspective of as soon as I have a lot of money, then my life will be so much better. And don't feel any different. The thing I always spend money on though, courses. Like not
Mm.
even just saying that because I'm on this podcast. To this day, I will gladly spend money on courses. Just to give you a ballpark, the courses I took in London, each of them were £1,000. So that's like $1,200. But even that, like, it's a week long. If you really care about the certificate, you get one. Yeah, I just books and courses and travel.
We'll be right back after this quick break. You did say, though, that you see yourself moving more towards entrepreneurship, just continuing to expand what you have, or has the platform you built and the money you have opened doors to just like what you think is possible, whether it's about the money or not, just what you're excited to do?
Yeah, let's see. I feel like I have been making videos for 10 years and I still love it. The thing is, there is a part of me that's like, I feel like I've made the videos I want to make. Like I feel that way in some way, almost like a TV show. Like I have a TV show has a season every year, and at some point, like maybe the TV show should end. And right now, I'm still finding videos to make, but I do feel like in the next few years, maybe with just the way social media is moving, and that every app is like TikTok now, which is honestly not my favorite. I'm more of like a long form guy. Like I like telling a long story with zero cuts. They call this FaceTime content, by the way. Like you're on the phone with your friend on FaceTime, and I don't know, it's like a video on YouTube, but you just feel like you're talking to a friend. So I have been pivoting a little bit, not even pivoting. I'm just like, I have a lot of free time right now. So I've been creating this newsletter, which allows people to swap their apartments. I also see it as a place where companies could eventually advertise. It's basically a newspaper. My newsletter is a newspaper. There are swaps all over the world. There are opportunities. Hopefully, like companies will advertise their jobs. They're looking for people who speak multiple languages, who want to travel the world. I don't know, like airlines. Maybe they're looking for a flight attendant. My audience would be the people to tap into. So I've been doing that. The courses are always there. There's always like, I have to create a coupon code here and there, but for the most part, I think my setup's pretty nice. I don't know. I don't have the next thing, to be honest. I'm enjoying that. For my entire life, I've always had like a vision. Like now, the next thing is like the French course. Then I'm going to do a French 2. Then I'm going to do a Spanish course. Then I'm going to travel course. Then I'm going to write a book. And I've done all those things, and now I'm like, let me breathe for 1 second and come back. So that's where I'm at now. Overall, yeah, I guess I'm an entrepreneur. Like, like I guess, right? Like, I have all the courses. I
Well,
did the book. I guess
I mean,
labels have
yes,
never
to
been a
like,
thing for me. Like, I've
yeah,
never cared about what my title is at my company. Like,
just what you want to do.
yeah, like I don't really care about the label or the title, like or the profession that I have. I guess I technically would be an entrepreneur though.
Whatever you call it, I think it's pretty cool to be at a stage where you've worked your butt off, but you can take a break and just think about what you want to do
Oh yeah,
creatively or whatever. You're a little different than a lot of creators I've talked to in that way, and it's not that you're detached from your business, but a lot of creators, I'm always surprised they've already objectively they're financially independent. They've accomplished
Yeah.
the goal. They've won the
Yeah.
game as far as the
Yeah.
business thing, and they're just gonna keep grinding until
No,
they
no,
die.
no, no, no,
That
no.
so I always ask, like, what happens? It sounds like you may not have an answer for that, but it
Mm.
does sound like that never was your goal,
It
to
was never
just
my
make as
goal.
much money as possible until the end
It's
of
never
time.
been my goal, but this is why I turned to philosophy, because people have had the same questions over and over for centuries, millennia. Like we've all had the same question. Like, what are we doing here? And even if you reach financial independence or say retirement, you 60, whatever it is, you still need to do something. So I understand the other people you've interviewed in the sense like, yes, they've hit financial independence. At the end of the day, they're not just going to sit around and do nothing all day. Like this is still why millionaires are working. This is still why celebrities and movie stars, they still work because you have to do something. So I understand that, but I'm definitely not like having a monetary goal or a super big strict goal also doesn't do it for me either because it's like fake at the end of the day. Like, so I feel like I'm in between these two where I don't need a goal because I feel like it's arbitrary. I'm just going to accomplish the goal and then I'm going to set another one and then accomplish it. So at that point, my life is just goals and accomplishing them. And then that feels silly. In philosophy, there's a book called The Myth of Sisyphus where he's like condemned to
Yeah.
rolling this like rock up a. So like that's how I see that. But you're also not going to sit around. So life is a game of entertaining yourself. I guess finding the next thing. I don't know. I don't really have an answer, but I've been questioning those things as well. Like I don't know. I don't know. For now, I'm in a slow season and I'm liking it, and I guess that's what I'm calling it. And again, it's like really a fortunate position to be in, which is really cool too. So life is pointless. That's the whole point of this.
Well, yeah.
So there we go. Albert Camus,
Positive
life is
nihilism.
absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm more of absurdist, which is like I don't know what the point is, but life is honestly like a video game. And I think that's why travel still does it for me, where I can
Mm.
go lay on the beach in some other country, or I can go take a class in London and I'm still going to be stimulated and excited. Like, it's almost like we all have our own video game characters, and you want your video game character to have the coolest adventure. Even if the game's pointless, you still want to have fun. So that's where I'm at.
Do you think about what you put into the world as a legacy in that sense of like you have these things you want to say and then you've said them? Is
Interesting.
there a final legacy of like Damon has said everything he wants?
Well, I maybe I always live my life. Let me think about this. I was gonna say every YouTube video I put out, I make sure that I'm saying something. Like I'm not a fan of the blabbers. Like there's a way to do YouTube, which is put a video out every single day, and you can be successful that way. Like you can really, again, grow. You can make a lot of money that way. But to me, it's what are you doing? Like what are you, great, you're gonna get the subscribers, you're gonna get the money, but then you'll hit this point where you're like, okay, but what am I actually doing? What am I saying? And I feel like that's where I've just always been there. Like if I'm gonna watch a video, I want it to be valuable. So everything I say is something I'm saying, something I truly believe. Do I have this one lifelong goal and I need to say this thing at the end of this podcast to make it all worthwhile? No, but I think that's why people like my YouTube channel or certain people's YouTube channel, because we're saying what we think as we go. Here's what's going on in my life, and here's how I'm looking at it, and here's why I think it's great. Here's why I think it's horrible. And I think we're all here for some reason. You might as well like give it your all and do everything you want to do. So to me, that doesn't mean always scaling is the answer. To me, that means doing what you actually want to do, and hopefully in doing what you want to do, there is some impact. I'm lucky because in doing what I want to do for my YouTube channel, there is impact. I'm traveling to ridiculous places and having really cool adventures, and I hope that people like take from that they can do the same thing. These are the questions that I'm always asking myself. Like, could I be scaling more? Do I even want to be scaling more? And I think honestly, this is more of my French side coming out now that I've lived here. Oh my God, I have so much to say. It's worth mentioning. Living abroad has changed me so much. It's changed me in the sense that like scaling in Paris, France, to some extent does not make sense because as soon as you reach a certain income, you're taxed a lot higher, and therefore you're not earning as much of the money. So I think that's a fair point to say. Like I don't really care too much about scaling anymore. It's not that I'm not ambitious. It's just that why would I work my ass off if it's not going to go to me? It's going to go to some arbitrary government entity. So if I were in the States, or like if I moved to Dubai, of course, maybe I'd scale a little bit harder those years, but it doesn't do it for me. I'm much more interested in getting wine and discussing these things. Like that's more my life.
Okay, if you rapid fire, favorite word in any of the languages you speak at the moment.
Portuguese is coming to me, but let's see. Nossa, galera. Come back to that.
Follow up with, because I love you do this in your courses, favorite sound in French.
Ah, one that really rubs me the wrong way, but it's so fun to do. Oh la la. Like constantly scoffing. They're constantly
Yeah.
huffing and puffing. Oh, but it's fun. Like even if it's funny, it doesn't have to be so sassy. It could be like if your friend doesn't want to come out with you to the bar, you could be like, oh la la.
What city or place do you want to die?
I guess Paris. But like I've been here for, I mean, honestly, I feel I studied abroad here. I had an ex-boyfriend for 6 years, so I was going back and forth. I've been here now for like 6 years. So I feel like really my adult life has been in Paris. Like I just feel like I've been here, so I know it the best. So yeah, I guess Paris.
Who's a celebrity or big creator you think should have an online course or course that you would want to buy?
Ooh, actually, she's making one. Her name is Amber Khan.
What do you say to someone who wants to do what you do but doesn't think they can?
So I would say it like this. You owe it to yourself. Like everybody on earth owes it to themselves to make the content that they like to watch, or else make the content they like to watch, or honor the decisions that they want to make, or else. It's a little extremist, but they really are, in my eyes, just living their lives based on what other people see for their life instead of what they see for their life, which in the end is not you're not living your life at that point. I hope people take it the right way, but I just want
No.
people to live their
Yeah.
life, and I hope that they value as much their own opinion as they do others. And I think more times than not, people value others' opinions, with good intentions, but then they end up living a life that they're not super satisfied with. And I just hope people will, honor what they truly believe in, or say the jokes that they think are funny, or make the course that they think is really cool or that's needed. That's the advice I'd give. Like, listen to your heart.
And on that, no. Thank you, Damon.
All right, thank you.
Damon is a beautiful example of what kind of life a creative mind can build for themselves when they're passionate about helping others and sharing their experiences. I hope you learned as much as I did today, found something you can apply to your life, and if nothing else, were inspired by Damon's story to take a hard look at your 9-to-5 work and make sure that the way you work is working for you. If you want to join the thousands of other creative entrepreneurs who are building an income out of their impact, click the link in the description to join the club and learn how Teachable can help you do the same. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out our next recommended episode linked here. Thanks again for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.